Good morning to you. It's Jenny here from Gemini Crafts, based in Brackley, Northamptonshire in the UK. And my Facebook Live this week is all about our punches. So the products I use in all of the lives and classes that I do are all Stampin' Up products. And one of the things that they have is a whole series of punches available. Hi to you, Baz. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Molly, Karen, and Jane. And Maureen. Excellent. Lovely to see you, lovely ladies, pop up on my screen. So, Stampin' Up have a whole stack of punches. And this is designed to punch card. So often you'll see paper punches, and they're designed to punch sort of lightweight paper. Morning, Carol. But Stampin' Up punches are designed to punch our standard card and our thick card. Morning, Yuta. Morning, Molly. So what I wanted to do is focus on these because they're a really useful tool to have. If you don't have a die cutting machine, they're perfect for cutting shapes. And obviously some of our punches also match our stamps. Oh, thanks, Molly. It's my pleasure. So for example, here we have Timeless Tulips, which is a really lovely stamp set. And the tulip itself and the leaf, or it can also be one of the petals, can be punched out with the punch. So you could fussy cut it, and fussy cut just means using scissors to cut round it. But if you have dexterity issues, or you're not very confident with a pair of scissors, or it's a particularly difficult thing to cut out, then our punches are a lifesaver. So as well as having shaped punches, we also have standard circles, and we also have different labels of different shapes and sizes. So I'd probably have, I would think, just looking at my cupboard here, probably about 50 punches. Not all of them are current, so Stampin' Up do bring punches in and then retire them to bring out new ones. Hi Marie, hi Brenda. So one thing to watch out for is that I do know that the scallop circle punches are all being retired. So these are the ones that have an extra pattern. Let me just see if I can see one to hand. Of course I can't. Yes, I can. So for example, this one here, the Starburst one, where it has a serrated edge, is actually being retired. So if you want to grab hold of any punches now, it's a good time to do it. So this week I want to focus on how you can use your punches, how you can look after them, what to do if something goes wrong and they get jammed, as they do occasionally. Oh, the sun's come out. I might need to move my blind. Let's see how we get on. No, I will need to move my blind. I don't like to put out the sun, but it's I don't want it right across the centre. Oh, it's the wrong one, isn't it? Bear with me, folks. I'm sure that sun will go very quickly. That's a little bit better. Hi, Claire. So we're talking about the punches. So basically our punches are designed to punch card. Okay, so they're good, strong. They are heavy, so you don't really want to drop one on your foot if you can help it. And all of our punches have a locking mechanism here on the back. Hi Fiona. And so this locking mechanism slides up to release the punch. Okay, and then you can press the punch down, or you can squeeze it this way. Lots of different ways that you can use it depending on how strong your hands are. I would always recommend using the heel of the hand, if possible, at the base of the punch. That's the most the strongest bit in terms of punching. The temptation sometimes is to hold it like this, but just be careful that you don't pinch your hand in there I think we've all done that at one time or another, because it's easily done if you're concentrating, because you can turn it over to see where you're punching. And if you're concentrating hard, and my goodness, when you snip it with that, that really hurts. You'll get a nice little blister from that. So the punches can be stored any way you like, really. So you can stack them like this. If I just lock this one up. So they're designed to fit in. This little hole here fits in there, so you can stack them up. It's got a little index plate on the front so you can see it. You can also stack them this way. So I have mine in a CD case, and I stack them side by side or going upwards. You can put them in drawers, things like that, but remember they are heavy. So you don't want to have too many, especially in a plastic set of drawers, for example. Hi Jill, hi Fiona. You don't want to stack those too much up, otherwise they can, you know, obviously damage the drawers, because they are designed to be heavy. So it is metal inside. Okay, it's not a plastic centre, it's metal. And your punches should last forever. Okay, I don't think I've had any punches that haven't lasted. They're designed to last, they're designed to be punched multiple times. Let me just show you the strength of the punching. Let me just grab some scrap paper. Or card, I should say. So, if you just want this label cut out, you can position your paper underneath, okay, and it just slots in this slot here. Okay, push it through, make sure it's, you know, roughly in the centre, and then use the heel of your hand, and you can literally just punch multiples like so, and each one will come out exactly the same and accurate. When you are punching, just think about the best use of your card. So many crafters are frugal and you want to make the best use of your card. So what you could do for this one, because here I've only got 2 punches in that area, what you could do is come in this way and do 1, and then just trim that little bit off with some scissors, or I'm just going to pull it off like that. And punch another one and do the same thing like so. So I know many of you use punches, so apologies if this is going over stuff that you would already know. So there we've got 3 in a much smaller area than we had those 2. So just think about when you're punching what you need to do to make the most. If you've got loads of card and you're using it up, then it's less critical. So let us do a little bit of stamping and punching. So what I'm going to use is timeless tulips. Now when our punches come out, they're usually available in a bundle if they match a stamp set. So this stamp set has the matching punch. You can buy the stamp set on its own for 17, the punch on its own for 17, or you can buy the 2 together at £30.50 instead of 34, and that's because Stampin' Up give you a 10% discount when you buy something as a bundle when it first comes out. It's not always available as a bundle, but that means they're bundled together and you get both for 10% discount off each of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stamp a few tulips along here and show you how the easiest way is to punch those out. Oh, and I have got that one out ready. I was more organised last night than I thought, obviously. So this is the tulip one we're using, and this is the larger size. And let's go for a nice melon mambo pink. So now when you are stamping, bear in mind this tulip is facing that way, which makes sense, facing head up. Some of them are less obvious. So I'm just inking up my tulip and pressing that down. Okay, and I'll just do a couple. I'll do one stamped off and then one stamped off again. Okay, so even with one ink pad, you can get multiple colours. So now I want to punch this out. Let me just cover my ink pad up for the minute. As I said, that sun is now gone. Postman's just been. Okay, so one thing to consider if you're doing this is if you look at this punch, it has two things to punch out. It has the tulip and it has the extra petal or leaf. And I stamped my tulips along like that. As soon as I put my punch in here, can you see what's going to happen? I can punch out my tulip, but it's going to cut into the next one. Okay, so if that is the case, you want to start on the other side. So I'm starting from the left hand side. Just happens to be my light coloured tulip. Take a minute to line it up. Okay, so there's one. And then this piece is in the waist. So now when I do this one here, the extra bit again is in the waist. Hi Stacey. And again. So when you are punching out, just take a moment to look at where the punch is. Now if you've only got one image on there, like a daisy, then that won't really matter at all. You can just punch to your heart's content. But can you see that's the excess is cut off from there. So there I've got my tulips nice and easy. Now if I'd had to cut those out manually, A, I wouldn't have done a very good job, and B, it would have taken me a lot longer than punching those out. So what I can do, let's just put a card together, and then I'll move on to a few more, some techniques to make your punches do different sizes. So I'm just going to create a square card for you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some tulips along there and then pop some of the tulips up on dimensionals across the top. I will do indeed, Baz. So I'm just going to put one in the centre, like so. And then I'm just going to put some ones on either side, like that. So just stamping them at different angles, and I'm just going to add the stalks into that. And then what I'm going to do is pop one of those up. I could do these ones here. I could do the middle colour one. Whatever we would like to do. Let me just put the stalks on. This is such a lovely set, this. So let's just grab, this is Pear Pizzazz. The other colour was Melon Mambo. So I hope you can see this okay. I'm working on a small piece of grid paper. Like so. So I'm inking up the whole stalk, even though I'm only using a part of it, because if you try and ink up a part of it, that's when it's really easy to only get a little bit of the ink on there. I think I might add some leaves. So there's 3 different styles of leaves. Let me see, just have that one I think. This is obviously designed as an Easter card because of the sentiments that come with it. Also could be Mother's Day. but it's just such a lovely set. It does all the colouring for you. There we go. Oops. There we have it. So there I've got my line of tulips, and what I'm going to do is I could add extra ones in, or I could just lift it and put it on top with some dimensionals. What do we think? I'm just going to put it on top actually, because I want to put a sentiment underneath. And then the next thing I'm going to show you on the sentiment is how to make its stamp bigger, punch bigger than it actually is. Let me grab some dimensionals and pop these on. These are our new black dimensionals. Not that I really need them on white card, but they happen to be to hand. There we go. So I'm just going to pop that on there so it's on top. Okay, so now what I want to do is actually put this sentiment on. Your friendship is a blessing. Okay, now one of the things you can do, which is really, really useful when you're trying to work out if something will fit a punch. Let me find a catalogue. Make sure I don't show you the new catalogue by mistake. Okay, so let's say I've got Wild About You, and I want to know, if you can see that, sorry, if that will fit in a punch. So what I can do is take the punch that I'm thinking of and just punch it out a piece of card. I'll just do it at the bottom here. And then use this as a template and go around your sentiments to see whether it will fit. So I can see that Wild About You would indeed fit in that space. Okay, the other thing you can do obviously is do a punch out, but you don't get to see how much space there is around. So I can see that Wild About You there would fit. And if I find some other sentiments here, I'm very pleased that this set is going through. There we are. You are somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. So they would all fit. Okay, now bear in mind that the images in our catalogue are the correct size, the actual size. Okay, so I can see here that that one will fit, those will fit, but it's a little bit too big in terms of the template, and I'll show you how to get over that problem. So that's just a really useful tip. So you can see that, you know, some will work, that won't work that way round, but it would work this way round, for example. Okay, so you can use that, create a template, and what you can do, especially with the circles, for example, is punch out a bunch of templates and then just put a hole in the corner and keep them together, and then you can use that easily to see which size will fit a particular sentiment. So yeah, it just saves you time really. So what I want is Your Friendship is a Blessing. Let me just cut this up here. But I know that this punch won't fit that sentiment. Well, it will, it might just, but it's pushing it a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's going to go off the end. Let me just stamp it so you can see. Let's go in Melon Mambo. So I'm going to show you how to extend this piece as well as cut it down. So if I just stamp this so you can see, it's going to be just off the end. And normally what I would recommend is stamping first and then punching it out. Okay, don't do it the way that I've done it, because you can be much more accurate on punching than you can on stamping. So you can see it would just fit, but it's not ideal. So let me show you how you can extend that piece there to fit that really nicely. So what you need to do is take the punch that you want to extend, find yourself a ruler and measure this width here. Okay, now this is actually 3.9 the height, 3.9 centimeters, or 1 and just under 1.5 inches. Okay, so that's the height. And then what you want to do is cut a strip of card that measures the same as that, or even just very slightly smaller. Okay, then what I can do is stamp my sentiment in there, and I'm leaving plenty of space either side. Okay, so there's my stamped image, and let me just put this away. What you can then do is take the stamped image and slide it in from the side, but obviously if I just slid that right in, it would cut the whole thing. So what you do is you slide it in from the side and then lift it up over the top, so that you're only punching one side of that punch. Does that make sense? Okay, so I can punch that. And now what I can do is the same thing the other way. Slide it in, pull it through, be gentle with it obviously, and then decide how long I want that to be, and then punch. Okay, so now I have got this from this shape here. So you can see I've extended it. Okay, so you can do that really with any shaped label if you like. You do really want it fairly straight across the middle, otherwise you I mean, you can use it in different ways. Let me just see if I've got another one that I could do that with. Yeah, let's see it with this one. So this is a square punch, okay, but I'm going to make it into a longer one there. Hi Trudy, who's just joined us. Let me just get some scrap. Let's use this one here. Okay, so here's my scrap piece. So what I'm going to do is measure this height here, top to bottom. If I can find my ruler that I've just put down. There it is. Okay. Oh, this is the one I'm doing. So this imprint here is the exact size of the thing it's going to cut out. So this is 3.5 centimeters high. So what I'm going to do is cut this piece 3.5 centimeters in a strip. Let me grab my cutter. Okay, so I can use so 3.5 is up to here because I can use this bit on the right hand side. So there's 3.5. Oh, I better have it straight to start with, hadn't I? I might help. Good morning, Rebecca. You always apologise for being late, but it's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm going to do it here actually because I'm here. So 3.5 centimetres, and I'm just going to have it very slightly smaller than that. So we're working with punches today, Rebecca. Now where's my punch gone? Here it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is unlock this and then pop this through. Okay, so can you see you're going to get this bit on the right hand side like that, and then do the same thing on the other side, and then I can slide it to make it any size that I want. There we go. So you've gone from a square to an oblong. Just wondering if that would fit in there then. Ooh, let me see if it will fit. That's a little bit tight. I could have made it a bit longer. Okay, so that's how you can extend from one size to another. And the other thing I'm going to show you today is how to do a backing for these. But I am going to put this one together first before I get carried away. So I'm just going to pop that onto there. And actually that's a little bit too big for that, isn't it? I could trim that off that way if I wanted to. So let me put this one together. I might find a different sentiment for that. So I hope everybody is well this Monday morning. If you're watching live, then do say hi or comment. And then if you're watching on replay, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate you popping along. So I wonder actually, no, it's still a bit too big, isn't it? And what I might do is actually just stamp your friendship straight onto that. Why not? I think it will stand out alright. I could do it in my favourite early espresso, but I'm just going to do it in Melon Mambo straight onto there. Like so. There we go. So there's my card. So let me show you how you can do some backing of those. Now I've got a whole series of things with punches this week, so I'm not going to cover them all today. I'm going to phase them in slowly so that you can have a play with something that you've done, and then let me know if you've had any issues. So let me show you, if I've got this one here, how to do a backing. So if I wanted to do a backing for this, obviously I could do this technique and extend it so that I've got a larger piece behind, exactly how I've just done with the other punch, if that makes sense. Alternatively, what you can do is just punch another one the same. Take a pair of scissors and then, and I know this is obviously the wrong front image, let's turn it over because that's too confusing, isn't it? And then put the two pieces behind like that. Okay, now the good thing about doing this is if you've only got a small piece of backing card, you know, you've got literally scraps, then what you can do is just punch out two small pieces. You don't have to punch out the whole thing to create this. So for example, if I only had a tiny little bit of this dark, what I could do is just literally punch this amount and do it from here and that. So you're literally just doing the edges. There we go. And then you could put that behind. Okay, and then you could even double those up. So you could have this one on there, like that, and then do the same on the other side. Okay, I'll just put those together so you can see. And then all you would need to do is just put a little bit of glue on either side. I'll just use some wet glue. There and there. Obviously you'd have your sentiment stamp to start with. Hi Jeanette. And then you can pop that onto there. Decide how much of a gap you want. Oh, that's okay, Jeanette, don't worry. I am thinking I might move my Monday morning one to 10 o'clock. Let me know if you think that's better. The only problem is quite a lot of my team also do lives at 10 o'clock. But, and you can always catch me on catch up anyway, as you know. So, which one did I have first? The darker one. That one there. And then onto there. So this is another way of effectively extending your punch, like so. Oh, the wind's really picking up. Okay, so what have we done so far? We've punched out some flowers and the tulips, and then looking at the position of the tulips as to which way we punch that along our card. And we've just punched those out. Sorry, I'm going to have to let my dog out. I can hear her moaning. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. There we are. Sorry, I'm back. Okay. So we've done single punches all the way along, okay, to punch that out. We've extended this. Oh, bless you. Yeah, that's why I did it originally, is because my coffee and card on a Monday was 9:30. So, but then on the other hand, the only people that join me, oh, I suppose Jill, Molly, yeah, Baz, hey ho. Okay, so we've extended the punch. Okay, we've extended it using some little background pieces there. And we've taken a square punch and made it into a rectangular one. Okay, does anybody need to see any of those again before I just do the next little bit? So the next one I want to do is showing you how to make this smaller rather than larger. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just stamp a small sentiment. That'd be the easiest thing, then you'll find it easier to see. Just cut that up. Let me make sure it's going to fit in the first place. It is. Let me pop a small sentiment on there. Let's just put the happy birthday on. If I can see it. is. Happy birthday. So you can use your punches in so many different ways. Don't think about using them just as they are. You know, if you look at it and think, oh, that's really too big, you can make them smaller. And if it's too small, you can actually make them bigger. So here is my happy birthday. I'm going to stamp that centrally. And let's say this is the only punch you have to hand. This one here. Okay. So you're going to start by punching it out. Okay. Now you could have it higher or lower. Hi Tracy. Hi Marlene. Like so. Okay. Or you can put it in the middle. Entirely up to you. Okay. What I want to do is do that section top and bottom. So I'm going to punch that one out like so. And then what I want to do is put this back in effectively and punch the other half of that. Okay. It's a bit easier when you see it. It's quite difficult to explain, which is why it's so much easier to do this live than it is written instructions, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do is take my spare piece of card and then I'm going to attach it to the side of here so that it becomes a handle and I can put it in and out of the punch, because obviously if I try to put this in now, it's just going to fall down and I'm not going to be able to get it in position to punch it. So here's my happy birthday bit. I might just use some snail if I can see it. Yep. Put a bit of snail on there and put this in. Morning Marlene, so glad your parcel arrived. Okay, so now I've got this with a handle to hold it. So what I can do is turn my punch over and work out where to punch that to make it smaller. So can you see that? I'm positioning it at the bottom. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? And then holding that in place. And this is where you want a nice long handle so that you've got plenty of room to hold on to it. Take your time and then punch it out. So now you've got happy birthday with the top and the bottom pieces of here taking the bit out of the middle. Does that make sense? Shall I do that one again for you? Would that be useful? Shall I do it with a different punch? Let's see. What have I got that's handy? We could do it potentially with this one. Oh, a post-it note, yes. That works too. I could do it with this one. Do a smaller V shape. Yeah, post-it note works well. Let me grab a piece of card. Oh, that's my pleasure, Carol. So if you wind back to the beginning when we're done, there's some other hints and tips there as well. So let's just do a happy birthday on here. Sorry, it's all the same colour. Okay, so you can do exactly the same thing with this one. Okay, put it in, position it as you want it first. Like so, and punch it. And who suggested the post-it note? I can't see it. Scroll back up again. I do apologise. So yes, you can use a post-it note. I never have a post-it note to hand when I want one. But I do always have pieces of paper. But a post-it note works just as well. Basically, you just want a method of holding on to this piece of card, that's all. So let's just put a little bit of glue on the side. So you really do need to come in from the side rather than the top or the bottom. You can come in from the top, but sometimes you put it on the wrong bit and then you have, you know, it's in the wrong position. Okay, so there's my happy birthday that way. So what I'm going to do is feed this back in, and then I'm looking at this bit at the bottom. Okay, now I can either have a little bit of a gap, I don't know if you can see here, or if it was small enough, I could literally make it into a triangle. Okay, it's a little bit too long to do that. So I'm just going to have a tiny little gap. Okay, and there we have, just take that excess bit of paper off, this one. Okay, from the same punch. So it won't be 100% accurate necessarily. Okay, but coming in on one side and then coming in from the bottom allows you to make it smaller. There's that one. And then putting it in from the side and extending it, you can make it larger. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover today. So I've got something different each day for this week in terms of punches. So tomorrow I'll look at what to do when your punch gets stuck, as they do occasionally, and how to sharpen your punch, as well as some more different tips and techniques. And then I've got Wednesday, we're going to make flowers with punches, and they don't necessarily have to be circular punches. You can make flowers with all sorts of different shapes. Oh yes, that's very true, Rebecca. Very useful indeed. So I do hope you've enjoyed that. As I say, I've just done a quick little card here, just punching out the tulip. But if you missed the beginning, do have a rewind, because there are some hints and tips on there. Thank you, Carol, Uta, Brenda. And do pop back tomorrow when I've got some different examples. And that will be 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us. If you didn't catch the beginning, the replay will be up very soon. And all of these videos will go onto my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to pick them out. So I'll do a series and the titles will all be punches, so you can click on the watch list and pick up the punches. The ones from last week, Stamparatus, are all there as well, and there's a watch list there, so just click on the first one and it will take you through. Thank you so much, everybody. Lovely to see you. Do let me know if you would prefer a 10 o'clock slot on a Monday rather than 9:30. Let me know if that suits you better. But also you can always watch on catch up anyway. But it's lovely to have you live with me. Even though I can't hear you, I can see your lovely sentiments. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day, and stay safe. Look after each other. Look after yourselves, and do keep crafting. Thank you. Bye-bye.